Here's the story of a bunch of podcasts who were bringing Cubby content to the world. All of them did their own show. Unconnected, obsessive baseball nerds. It's the story of a bunch of Cubs fans who are consolidating all their shows. They're uniting, doing it together, so we all can grow. Cup of Cubby Blues combining with Sunranto, baseball rabbit hole and Cubs PS Plus. With Cubs fun and breaks behind the ivy, they're all teaming up to be the Bleacher Bunch, the Bleacher Bunch. We love the Cubs, that's the way we became the Bleacher Bunch.
Welcome to the Bleacher Bunch on this Clinchington Wednesday.
Happy Clinch Day.
Happy St. Clinchington's Day. That's what it feels good. It's such a long year. We were just talking before we went on. We feel like we've done 100 or more podcasts because we have 2 a week plus the Cubs pod. And, you get into the day-to-day, the grind of this whole thing. But today we could say we are a postseason squad, and there will be October baseball for the Chicago Cubs outside of the regular season. So,
but Crawley says we're not supposed to be happy about it. So,
we'll get into Crawley's comments. But anyway, welcome to the Bleacher Bunch on the Fans First Network. This show is brought to you by all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you for supporting us at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch. It's how we keep the lights on here at the podcast. We got to pay for all these streaming services to bring you this show live. So please support us at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch, especially our super duper Bleacher Bunchers like Blake Beard and Rogue Wave Creative, and all the great podcasts on the Bleacher Bunch, including your show, Cubs PS Plus, which there was a new one that went live today with Cody Delmendo.
Yes.
You're back. Cup of Cubby Blue, we managed to eke out an episode last week. So, Sarah.
Our weeklies are killing it.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Sunranto show, we're not skipping too many beats.
Sunranto and Bleacher Bunch are making us all look bad.
You're welcome. Because that's me.
We got to give the customers something.
Well, the problem is I'm just a loudmouth, and before you told me about 5 minutes before we went live tonight that you could actually go live with me. And my plan was just to get on here myself. Michael Cotton is having internet issues, and I'm like, talk for an hour by myself and just take comments from the peanut gallery in the crowd. No problem. I got you. But I'm glad you're here, Mike, because I
got to say, so going with Cody today, that was my first ever live show on Cubs PS Plus. And it's a little different driving a live show.
It is.
I've kind of filled in for you, but Cotton's been there, Sarah's been there. So we kind of jointly handle all the business, but it's a little different.
Especially, it's a little different for me today because I went to the eye doctor earlier and my eyes.
You can't see shit.
My pupils are still dilated. When I was coming up with the show, I was trying to screenshot all these different pictures of the Cubs celebrating, and I couldn't see. And I'm wearing those dumb square glasses. I don't have them with me right now, but the ones that they give you to put anyway, they don't work. I had to ride my bike home with those too. That was an adventure. Anyway, thank you for being here tonight. But I also especially want to thank In the Clutch Shirts because they're our sponsor, Billy DeVore and In the Clutch Shirts. And we're going to see Billy this weekend in Cincinnati when the Cubs, I don't even know who they're going to play on their team. It's going to be basically the Tennessee Smoky Cubs versus the Cincinnati Reds, who are still fighting for a spot, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And I also want to thank Matt Kammer, the wonderful artist whose artwork is hanging behind me here. And he's also on my shoulder. I now have Matt Kammer shoulder artwork with his tattoo, but also he's a sponsor of the show. So thanks for all of that and your sponsorship and your love. And thank you to all you that are here tonight, and especially those who sponsor us. So let's see. Who do we got here in the Discord tonight? First of all, hashtag Chance in the chat. You can win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. So do get that done. And see, Little Yumper says, damn it, Cotton. Yeah, he's got bad Iowa internet. You know, the hamsters. Well, you know, I think what it is Donald Trump, who we really haven't spent enough time on this show praising yet, I believe, to stay on the air. So thank you, President Trump, for allowing the Bleacher Bunch to be here tonight in all your infinite wisdom. Some people are saying it is the greatest show ever. Many people are saying this. Many people. And
they all wear red hats.
Yeah. Many people say that the Bleacher Bunch is maybe the greatest show that has ever existed in the hottest country with the hottest team on the planet, the Chicago Cubs. And the Bleacher Bunch is one of the greatest shows on that. And thank you, Trump, for allowing us to be here, even though you're a Mets fan. But unfortunately, as we know, President Trump has said, because the sun does not shine at night, and the wind does not always blow in Iowa, there went Michael Cotton's internet, and he is not here this evening.
I like to piece that together. I think there's something to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just ripping here, Mike. It's St. Clinchington's Day. All right. The Cubs won.
I missed it on the comments earlier. Corey Furlong asked what I'm drinking. I'm drinking rum and Coke, and I've got my Cubs coaster that's got dirt from Wrigley Field in it. So I'm repping the brand tonight.
So rum and Cokes. I've got my yerba mate. Nobody cares about that. But I am drinking it out of a mug that was purchased in Mexico. And I love this mug. It's my favorite mug.
That's awesome.
I gave it to my mother for a gift, and then she died, and now it's mine. And that's really the beauty of
giving. You can see there's baseball stitches in my glass here. Gift from my kids on Father's Day a couple of years ago.
Very cool. You know, the nice thing about giving stuff to elderly people is, you know, you're gonna get it back. And your kids are like, "Oh, Dad will love this." And you're like, "Yes," and I'll love it when he croaks in 30 years. He doesn't break it
exactly
in a drunken fit during the 2025 playoffs when the Cubs throw a game. So anyway, hashtag chance in the chat. Joey's here doing it. Bernie's here. We're gonna see Bernie this weekend in Cincinnati. Andy Wells, we're also gonna see this weekend. So awesome. Corey's here, and thanks for being here.
Corey has those coasters.
Oh, right on. Good taste. Angel Moreno is here saying hashtag chance in Kingsburg, California, where we're in 100 degrees. You think that's what they mean?
I'm glad I'm not.
Yeah, me too. It's quite pleasant. It's beautiful time in Chicago, and we're going to get some playoff baseball for it. Cubs sweep the Pirates. They're 5.5 up in the first they're in the top wild card spot with only 10 games to play. And the good news is the Cubs are 10-5 in September, or 11-5 in September right now. Or
I think so. Yeah.
So they're playing their best ball. It's what we wanted. I mean, not much to take away from playing the Pirates, except for that you blew Skeens up.
Yep.
They're not a good team.
So if you look at this team, the Cubs played really well against LA early in the season. They played well against Arizona. They played well against San Diego. They beat Skeens. Like, for all the Cody and I talked about this today. One of the reasons I wanted to have him on is he was commenting that the season was sort of exceeding everybody's preseason expectations, but at the same time, we're all pissed off about it because it started so well and then it kind of went in the crapper. But this team, I think, has played some of their best ball against some of the toughest opponents and some of the toughest pitching, which is kind of odd to say, but it gives me some hope in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to get it up because the Padres are no slouches, and it really just does seem that.
But they've also been playing shitty baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to tell because this year, and I'm trying to put my finger on it, like what feels different about this team, this playoff run than like the 15-16 squad. Mm-hmm. And part of it is me personally and just who I am and what I was doing at that time. I mean, I that's my personal perspective on things. But I think the other part of it is that with this new playoff format and like clinching a playoff berth just somehow feels different it's not like you're backing into it, but then there's multiple things that are still at stake, whether it be home field advantage, who you're going to play. I mean, I guess that was in play before and stuff. It just feels different. Maybe because it's September 17th,
Well, I think maybe because with the 3 spots, like the Cubs now they're locked in. but like they're not locked into the number one spot, but they're pretty close. I mean, they're coming in, they were 5 up with 11 to play. So the odds of San Diego catching them are pretty low. But this, as the number 4 seed, and honestly, the Cubs have a better record than 3 other division leaders in baseball. This is a team that would be in the playoffs every single year, going back to like, when was the first wild card? 2004? No, it was before that. It was 97. Maybe.
They would have been given a 1-game kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it'd be different, but they'd still be in. Unlike, it's one thing if you just sort of squeak in the last day of the season, that third wild card at like 82 wins or something like that. Like, that's a little different. But the Cubs all season have played like a playoff team. And I think they deserve to be a playoff team.
Well, they just haven't been quite as exciting about it. Like, they haven't gone on these crazy runs where you're like, oh my God, this team's unstoppable. Like, they're just always like, the worst they've done over, let's say, a 2-week stretch was maybe go like 13-12 or like a month-long stretch. Like, they don't have like long losing streaks. What's their longest losing streak? 3 games?
Yeah, they've done it 4 times over 152 games.
Yeah, and so it doesn't feel like, they don't just feel as dominant as some of those other teams. And Corey's here in the chat saying, I don't feel good about as good about this team as I did in 2015, maybe because it was new to me, just not loving this team like 2015. And there were a lot of rookies on that team. There were emerging first-round picks. You had Javi.
2015 was the first time we had hope in a long time. I know there's 2007. I love that 2008 team, but those were different. Like, for me, I would have to go back to like 2003 to really have that hope and that vibe and that energy. And it's just been Cubs baseball. I know they made the playoffs in 2020 and I've defended that team, but the vibes have kind of been dead since about 2017. Even the 2018, I talk a lot about that team. They won 95 games. That was a good baseball team. It just all went to crap at the very end and ended bitterly. But there's not been a lot to hang the hat on. The 2015 team, I think we could all kind of see that coming. And I think especially 2015, I felt at the time like it came a year early. And like, oh my God, it's actually here. They won 97 games and made a wild card as a 97 win team. And it was just crazy. And this team is not as good as 2016, but this is a good baseball team. And I do find it kind of, Cody and I talked about today, but I find it a little bit odd how underwhelming this team feels for what it is. But I think the biggest part, you talked about no long losing streaks. The longest winning streak is 5 games. They did it once.
Yeah. And that doesn't really like excite you that much. The Viagra is not lasting longer than 8 hours.
Even 2023, when they went on that tear in the second half with Bellinger, when he came back, I think they ripped off like 10 in a row, won 14 out of 15, something like that. You're like, oh my God, this is what this team can be. And the Cubs got a little bit of that early in the season, and they had plenty of stretches where they won 7 out of 9, 8 out of 10, but it never felt like, wow, they are playing dominant baseball right now.
Yeah, and I don't think it totally matters, because you can be that team and be like your working man's sort of team and still win the World Series. Like, it's just 2 of 3, 3 of 5, 4 of 7, 4 of 7, and you won the whole damn thing. So
and the Cubs have done that all season.
Exactly. And so you just have to have a good month, and they're playing their best baseball right now. Beating the Pirates, like, so whatever you do with that. Like, I was texting with my friend Brian, our Pirates guy, my old friend, the guitar player. And he was like, it's like, well, you're not going to get very far when your best hitter is Andrew McCutchen, who was also your best hitter like 12 years ago. Because he's like, and second of all, he goes, and when your big acquisition that you've added to the team is Tommy Pham, like, it's just, but they have good.
You're just slapping dudes in the clubhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Only because he's mad about fantasy football.
Right, exactly.
But they've got good pitching. We managed to get to Skeens, like you said. We've been good against elite pitching, and they knocked Skeens out early. They didn't score as many runs. Like, they had 18 base runners the other night.
Yeah.
In that Skeens game, and they only scored 4 runs. And
that's been the problem all year. But when you look at the skiing stuff, there are a couple of numbers I want to point out that kind of blew my mind when they were talking about it on Marquee. Skeens had given up before yesterday's game one first inning run all year. And it was the first time he had given up more than one run in a first inning in his entire career. And Bush almost got him for 2 homers in that game, and no individual player has hit 2 home runs off Skeens yet. So it was an impressive way to get to him. But the Cubs, what's killed them all season, we all talk about it every day on Cubs Pod, is they had 18 guys on base and they were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Like, get them on, get them over, and they don't drive them in.
Well, they don't do any driving in, but they do some smoking. I did see the Chicago Cubs tweet out, "Smoke them if you got them," which I was like, are they going to hear? I know you're not supposed to be young and on Twitter under 13 or whatever the age is, but like, smoking is well known as to be bad for you. They're smoking inside.
There you go, IFG.
Yeah, shirtless Justin Turner. We got Cade Horton smoking a big stogie. And I mean, I don't mind it at all. I don't mind the smell of tobacco even as a former cigarette smoker. And I've smoked some cigars myself, but I liked smoking cigarettes, and I rolled my own drum tobacco for years and years. But it's just funny when like a baseball team, like there's all these pictures like don't smoke. It's like all this imagery, although you can't smoke anywhere. And then when a team does something that is great and you want to celebrate that thing, what you do is you break all the rules that you're always supposed to follow, and you smoke inside a stadium in a clubhouse where that's the last place you'd think to smoke around a bunch of athletes. You're trying to breathe and stuff. And all these are like, oh, thank God we won. Let's get drunk and give ourselves lung cancer.
Yeah, well, you got all the champagne in the air, so I think that knocks all the toxins down, and somehow I think it's fine.
Well, as I said, I don't mind it. I know that they're going to get some angry letter from like some Karen who's going to be like, this is setting a bad example for the children.
Philly Karen is going to make herself known.
Philly Karen's going to be mad about the smoking. But the other thing about it is a lot of shirtlessness. There's PCA with his shirt off. They got their goggles. And
damn, he's pacey.
Yeah, he's a pasty man. Yeah, you think a man, I mean, he doesn't play with the shirt off. They should let him one day a week play with the shirt off just so he could like match that farmer tan he's sporting.
And Owen Casey makes him look tan.
Exactly. Casey is translucent. I'm surprised that he hit his head against the wall instead of going through it accidentally as a ghost, because he's translucent. So there's all the guys celebrating. The one somebody brought up, they were sad that Ben Brown wasn't there. And I that is sad because he was there all year, and then they send his ass down. And now, instead, like Michael Soroka gets to celebrate,
Yeah. Kyle Tucker wasn't there either.
Yeah, because Kyle, and we'll talk about that. We should maybe get to that. But there's Shota celebrating, and he was saying that I learned that with champagne, instead of drinking it, you should absorb it through your skin. It feels better.
I love Shota so much.
That was a good quote from him. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Tucker wasn't there. He went and got a second opinion on his calf. Now, did you take that in any way to be a personal affront against the Cubs training staff that they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and I'm going to go get my own guy?
Well, I just remember, he was ready off the bench if they needed him on that Saturday before they put him on the IL. And then now, a week later, he's going to Tampa to meet with his own physical therapist and get a different opinion. So I don't know what. I'm hoping it's just being extraordinarily conservative given where they are in the playoff race and play it safe. But, dude, come on.
Yeah, that would really suck to not have him. As much as I would love to see me some like Mo Baller in the lineup every time, and then you could play Suzuki. I mean, they do have options if Tucker were not to be there. And
and Tucker was back when he got hurt too. Like, he looked really good.
Yeah. And so hopefully when he does come back, that he'll just like take a day to get his head to the speed of the game, and boom, we have him at full strength for the playoffs. And I think they're gonna rest all these guys at this point. Like, I
should.
Yeah, and
you gotta be just good enough to stay ahead of the Padres, but up 5 with 10 games to go. Like, And they could be up 6 if the Padres lose today.
And they don't have a bad bench right now because you got all the kids up. Like,
did you say that out loud? Oh wait, all the kids. Yeah.
Well, because they switched them out because you got rid of your Vidal Brujans, you know, and even Justin Turner showing signs of life today.
Hopefully Turner and Castro are home over tomorrow, so all the kids get to play.
Well, I mean, is what's his name? Is Carlos Santana still on the team? He's another one celebrating with them.
Yep.
He'll be out there. And at least it's a night game. Although when you're 40 years old, like Justin Turner and Carlos Santana, the hangover can extend into the evenings sometimes.
I know nothing about such things.
But it certainly looks for sure that we're going to be playing the Padres. And my 10-year-old heart, 1984 heart, is looking forward to that rematch, and I'm definitely getting myself a F Steve Garvey obvious shirt. And yeah, I'm gonna make as much hay out of that. But yeah, I mean,
you know, one thing I noticed today, you remember, so 84 was the first time we saw a Cubs clincher, and then 89 was the second. Both were against Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh. And today they got it in Pittsburgh. And then, of course, 2015, 10 years ago, they ended Pittsburgh's season in Pittsburgh. And it's just kind of fun to go back to Pittsburgh and have all these great memories.
It is. Well, they're not so happy about it. The fucking Cubs are coming to town. And yeah, do you remember, I was thinking about it today because of that Pittsburgh clincher in 1984. I remember watching that on TV on WGN. It was like 9:00 at night and stuff. I
got to stay up late for that one. And yeah,
there's great footage too of like 1980s drunk businessmen just getting hammered on Rush Street watching that game. Like, go on YouTube, go down a little rabbit hole. You might enjoy like seeing how people used to be. But do you remember the song by, was it Munchen Freiheit, the Keeping the Dream Alive?
Yes, I love that clip. The WGN used to do a banger at the end of every season with all the season highlights, and that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's like, 'cause we're keeping the dream alive. And then it's funny, the lyrics on the chorus are, the hopes we had were much too high, way out of reach, but we had to try. And it's like, so it's like kind of loser talk. You know what I mean? Like our hopes are too high.
Yes.
Is what we're saying.
That might be, I can't remember now. Was that 84? That might've been 89. Because I seem to, you were singing that, and I was picturing Lloyd McClendon dropping down a sacrifice squeeze to win a game, because I've certainly never watched that on YouTube 700 times.
I certainly can see me conflating those games or those seasons.
It could be. Both of those were great. I've watched both those season highlight videos over and over, and it's
funny you imagine 89. You know, I had some concerns going into that. I remember there's footage of me at that time. We went down to Tennessee right at the time that the playoffs were starting. We were in Tennessee with my uncle, who videotaped everything, and he lived in Memphis. And we went down there as a family. I was 14 years old, and maybe 15 years old in 89. And so my uncle's asking me about how I was feeling about the Cubs. And I remember being pretty nervous about facing the Giants. Was that who we faced? Yeah, the Giants. I'm like, yeah, the Giants are really good. Like, and I didn't have a lot of confidence as a Cub fan, like in the video. And I'm like, typical Cub fan, like all the way back then. But in 84, I had a lot of confidence because
I had so much confidence.
That was the year that the Cubs were just rocking and rolling. They had the whole city just losing their minds. And just like in 2016, we felt that way too, more than even 2015, which like 2015, I think we still had some doubts that we were going to get past some of those teams. Like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole time, but 2016, you're like, no, we're really doing it this time. This is really happening.
1984, I do think if you played that series out 10 times, I think the Cubs win 8 or 9 times. But the Cubs smoked them 13-0 that first game. And Rick Sutcliffe hit a home run, and it was just amazing. I still don't fully understand how they lost that series, and it'll always be too soon.
Yeah, I mean, they won the first two at Wrigley. All they needed is the one more, and they couldn't do it. Lee Smith blew the one game. Well, let's say I wouldn't even say Lee Smith blew it as much as Steve Garvey won it, and
Mhm.
Steve Garvey won a couple of those games. They were also ahead in game 5, but it's
Leon Durham did a Buckner before Buckner.
yeah, yeah, he did, and there was more that happened in that
Yeah,
inning
there was.
too, and if you talk to the '84 Cubs, they say it was a lot about Jim Fry's decision not to pitch Trout and stuff like that. Like there were other things that went on. The '84 Cubs, if you
See, he saw who Trout really was.
yeah, exactly. The Trout pillow mitt, go out and buy one of those, and you could fund the January 6th defense fund for when they do it again. But yeah, Steve Trout, he will be the first to say that he should have pitched, and
He should have.
and the '84 Cubs all think that too. They blame Fry more than anybody. They said somebody asked him one time at CubsCon, like, what would be the one thing that you would change that would have allowed you to win that series? And they said, throw Jim Fry out of the airplane on the way to San Diego.
Wow.
Everybody was like, oh, but it was like early in the morning on Sunday. Everybody was hungover and acted poorly. Yeah. Angel Moreno says, I still hate Steve Garvey. Joey says, fucking hairy arms ruined 84. And
I think the Tigers were a great team that year and were probably the best team over the course of the year. But I really think if the Cubs had beaten the Padres, they would have won the World Series in 1984.
And 84 would have been, or then that would have been, if it was the Detroit and the Cubs, that would have been a rematch of 45, which was the time that the Cubs had been in it before. Although I looked into the 45 World Series, and that was not a normal World Series, being that World War II was going on.
All the best players were overseas. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had like a guy who had been in a freaking farm accident that like could barely move his arm. Like he was a natural righty, but because of a farm accident was pitching with his left hand. Like that's what we were looking at.
He was 2-finger brown, and that was one finger too few.
Exactly. Damn shrapnel. So I did look into what the Padres and the Cubs did against each other this year. And I don't know what you're going to take away from it because it was all in April. Every single game. They are 3-3, so you get nothing out of that information. They've scored 25 runs and they gave up 25 runs, so you get nothing there. And then Imanaga and Boyd beat them, but Boyd also lost to them as well when the Cubs only scored 2 runs in the game. Ryan Presley blew a save. So he's gone, so that doesn't matter. Nate Pearson and Eli Morgan blew a game together, and also the Cubs won 1 in 10, and Presley got a W. So it's a totally different situation now, and maybe
I'll say one thing about the Padres now, though. Don't let them have a lead in the 7th.
They've got to shut down bullpen. That's for sure.
Yes.
They're a good team.
They are a good team, but they lost Sander Bogart, so that hurts their offense. But there's still a lot of good offense behind. I mean, they got Tatis and Machado and all those guys, but the starting pitching is a little shaky. So if the Cubs can get up early and add on and create some separation, I think they're going to be in pretty good shape. But you don't want to be down 3-1 in the 6th facing off that bullpen.
Yeah, Suarez, Estrada. I mean, they got a couple guys who we gave up. Dylan Cease being one of them.
Mason Miller.
Yeah. Jeremiah Estrada is on that team still. 67 innings pitched for him and a 3.46 ERA. And we just gave him up. And see, I'm looking at who else. Let's see, 38 saves for Suarez right now. So
he's good.
Yeah, so we've got our work cut out for with that bullpen. And from I don't know, you lose Bogarts, you're still scared of your Manny Machados and your Tatises, but I don't know, I'm not too scared of anybody else. I guess Gavin Sheets has 19 dongs. I'm looking at it right now, but nobody else is like really doing it for me. I feel like we could we could take them, especially at
I do
Wrigley.
too. Yeah.
So
And that's going to be that's one thing I do like about if you're going to have this format with a 3-game series. I'm glad it's not home, away, home. I like that the top team just gets to host all 3 games.
And Nick Pivetta will probably be their game 1 starter, and he carved us up pretty good when he faced us, but that was back in April.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your guy for the Cubs?
I don't outthink the room. Cade Horton's the best thing going. You put him out in game 1. I mean, just go get that. There's nothing more important. We can talk about splitting lefties. We can talk about not putting game 1 pressure on the kid. Go win game 1, and you have such a huge advantage in a 3-game series.
It really is, because you're in an elimination game the moment you lose game 1.
Yes,
and
then you're going to face it twice, or you're eliminated in game 2.
Yeah. And so it really taking game 1 is so important. I wonder if that's a game where you just like don't monkey around at all. And that, you got two guys on, and he's going through the lineup for the 3rd time or something. And then you're just like, I'm done. We're going to the pen. I'm not messing around with this, because you can't in game 1. Game 2, you might play differently if you already won game 1,
Yeah.
But,
and honestly, like, I think I would go Horton Shota, because they're pitching the best right now. And that gives you a chance to maybe not have to pitch Boyd. I think the issue with Boyd is rest. You watch him today. He got off to a quick start, got knocked around, put like 6 straight guys on base, clearly struggled, but he also battled. He made some good pitches to get out of some of those jams. So I don't think the stuff is broken. I don't think he's pitching like he's injured. He's just thrown 173 innings. And he hasn't done that in 6 years. And so
Corey said Jameson.
Yeah. So
in your game 3,
there's no scenario, I don't think, where the Cubs make a run in the playoffs and go deep where they don't need Matthew Boyd, but they might not need him in the division series. I'm not saying take him off the playoff roster, because I think you want to have him there. But if the Cubs can skip his next start, because it's not really going to matter, maybe get him a little like 50 pitch tune-up towards the end of the season, get him ready for the playoffs. If he doesn't have to pitch in that division series, maybe with a little rest, maybe he's ready to go game 1, game 2 of the NLDS.
Because he was an all-star. He was your game 1 starter almost this entire year until maybe the last, 6 starts, something like that.
I think it's 7, but it's 6, 7, yeah.
Yeah, where he's just kind of been more of a, giving up. He hasn't blown up.
But his ERA is over 5 during that stretch. They were talking about it on Marquee today.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the guy didn't forget how to pitch. His stuff still moves. You can still see it. And he can still go 80 pitches. I think he's just gassed.
Yeah. No, I think so too. And he's already given us more innings than we thought we were going to get from him. I don't think anybody would have predicted. How many innings does he have? It's a lot.
I think it's 173 or 4.
I was going to say 176, but yeah. But that's just off the top of my head. But I'm going to look it up.
I think he came in today with 171, and he went
174.1. Yeah. I mean,
which is incredible. I was hoping he could get to 140, 150.
I was hoping 100. Yeah. I mean, honestly, this guy, he hasn't done. When was the last time he even had 100 innings?
It's like 2019.
Yeah. So,
well, that was the last time he had 150 plus for sure.
And the question is, like, how do you structure your pitching after your starter? And do you carry like a bridge guy, like they were kind of using, like they brought Assad in later in the game the other day, and they had him come in. Not a lot of innings on that arm because he's been hurt. How is he? How back is he? I mean, I don't know. Look pretty good. Would you take a Colin Ray out of the pen in one of those situations? Or would you just go with your like speed ballers and carry a bigger bench? I
think you'd have to carry at least one, maybe. So you don't need 5 starters.
No,
it's a 3-game series. So you maybe you make your Tyone or Boyd decision. Maybe you keep the other one around to be a bridge guy. I think you probably have to have 2 bridge guys, because you have to be able to move quickly if it's not going well. If game 1, if you throw Horton and this is finally the game where he gets rocked, gives up 4 runs in the first 2 innings or something, you got to move on. And that probably means you got to go to Tyone or Boyd or Ray or Assad or somebody like that can, you hope, can just eat up 4 of the middle innings, keep the game within range, and hope your offense can chip away.
The only weird thing about a couple of those names you mentioned, specifically Tyone, is that being not used to pitching out of a bullpen.
And so you have to think about it, right?
So whereas an Assad or a Ray might have done it more in their career and could know how to prepare for it. So these are all questions that will be answered, obviously, because we're going, baby.
But Savali gives him a little different look. Soroka, if he's really healthy, he can give you multiple innings.
It's another one.
You got a lot of ability to mix and match with Drew Pomerantz and Keller, and Palencia should be back. It sounds like he's going to throw on Saturday.
Yeah, and Ben Brown, that's another one. That's another one you could add to the list of somebody that could come in and take 3 innings at the end of a game, and also somebody that has pitched out of the pen and has been a starter.
Well,
I just wonder who they.
Here's another interesting name I'll throw out there. The guy's been dominant at AAA most of the year. Luke Little. He's not gotten great looks in Chicago. He was terrible the first time he came up, but it was 1 inning. And he looked okay the last time out, but he was up for 1 inning. He's been throwing really well at AAA, and he might be somebody they think about. That's a lefty throwing 98 that keeps the ball on the ground, and guys just pounded in the turf.
Well, if there's anything like what I told you about, what happened in the last time we played the Padres and who blew those games and whatnot, and it's a completely different bullpen. Yeah, we've had a turnover of the bullpen like at least 3 times at this point, and it would not surprise me if they turned it over yet one more time to going into the end of the season. Yeah, it would be just more of the same for this season. So they've actually done a pretty good job. The Cubs have had a pretty elite bullpen.
Well, and look at some of the guys we named. I mean, who'd have thought at the beginning of the season that some of the most important guys to this team would be Matthew Boyd, Colin Ray, Drew Pomerantz, and Brad Keller, or
Carson Kelly. Yes. I mean, if you want to talk about the position players,
yeah.
I mean, and Carson Kelly, thank God they got him because you didn't have a Maya all year, and so.
And honestly, Reese McGuire's been amazing.
Yeah,
he's given me more than I ever expected.
Yeah. Yeah, he's jacking them all over the place.
He does that in parking lots too. He just always gives more than you expect.
Exactly. Well, why don't we take a break and go, and we'll come back and talk about the Reds and their series. I was hoping Billy DeVore could come in tonight, but he cannot. So, yeah, I know.
We get to see Billy on Saturday, though.
We'll see Billy on Saturday, and we'll be doing a live show. I don't know if it'll be live, but we'll be recording a show. Maybe we can go live. I don't know. We'll see about that. But on Saturday at 3 p.m., we will be at Binsky's Bar in the Camp Washington neighborhood in Cincinnati right before the game. And then we're going to the game in section 509. And nosebleeds. I guarantee there are still tickets available, but we'll all be together with our binoculars. And anyway, we'll just take a quick break for our sponsors. Those are, of course, In the Clutch shirts and Matt Kemmer's permanent paintings. But please also subscribe to us at our Patreon, patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch. It's how we keep the lights on. We'll be right back to talk about the Reds and celebrate St. Clinchington's Day.
Yes. The Bleacher Bunch brings you great shows like Sun Ranto, Cubs PS Plus, Bricks Behind the Ivy, Cuppa Cubby Blue, and Baseball Rabbit Hole. But you could be getting so much more when you subscribe to our Patreon page for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch. Get access to our exclusive daily show Cubs Pod, where we recap every single game. Plus, be the first to hear Cubs music, get early access to events, and receive an invitation to join our Discord Cubs community, where fans just like you show up every day to rant and rave about our beloved boys in blue. Most importantly, 10% of your Patreon pledge will go directly to help the Lost Boys Youth Baseball program. So join us. There are perks at every level, like the Renter Calendar, absolutely free, and name recognition for you or your business. We are independent Cubs podcasters, and we need your support. Otherwise, we'll quit. Seriously, we'll all quit. Some of us might even die from your lack of support. In fact, the cutest little puppy you've ever seen will die if you don't support the Bleacher Bunch at patreon.com/bleacherbunch. We promise to spend all the Patreon money on tickets and beer and all the dog crap we have to buy just to keep our podcast rolling. So give us your money, and we'll waste it far better than you will. Patreon.com/bleacherbunch. Free trials are available, but don't do a free trial. Just join, okay? Okay. Patreon.com/bleacherbunch.
In the clutch, in the clutch. Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Take it from the Bleacher Bunch. You'll love the shirts from In the Clutch.
In the Clutch shirts are comfortable, stylish, and guaranteed to get you laid. Plus, they're proud sponsors of the Bleacher Bunch. Use promo code BleacherBunch for 10% off your purchase.
Nice to feel and soft to touch. That's why you will get laid so much. Wearing a shirt from In the Clutch. And you can thank the Bleacher Bunch.
In the Clutch, in the Clutch. Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Remember the code Bleacher Bunch. Save 10% at In the Clutch. In the Clutch, in the Clutch.
In the Clutch shirts actually not really guaranteed to get you laid.
It's my celebratory Vuvuzela.
Nice.
Yeah, welcome back. We are the Bleacher Bunch. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hashtag Chance in the chat. If you're nasty, you can win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom this evening. I'm Danny Rocket. This is Mike Waller, and we are 2/10 of the Bleacher Bunch or something. We're about 1/5 of the Bleacher Bunch.
Yes.
Depending on how you count. So Cubs, well, they have the Reds, then they got the Mets, and then they got the Cardinals.
And that's an end of the season schedule I was kind of sweating a month and a half ago, and now I'm kind of not.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of nice to be able to set things up as you go into the season. The Cubs have not announced a single starter for this entire series, which I'm kind of glad of. I think they
just have to see who's sober enough to throw tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We might see a hungover Assad start. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe
Get out there, ass man.
Yeah, exactly. Get out there, ass man. You're a rookie. You haven't been here all year. You got to take one for the team. And so the Reds are still in it though. And so I was looking at like what it could mean for because the Reds are going to be playing hard. They have announced all 4 of their starters. They know what they're doing. They're all set up. And it looks like they've got to get over the Diamondbacks, who they're tied with. Or no, they're a half game behind the Diamondbacks, and they are tied with the Giants.
And they're behind the Mets, and they're behind the Mets. Reeling. And honestly, I want any one of those teams to beat the Mets out for the playoffs. I know we love Uncle Mike, but just watching the Mets fall on their face is just some of the greatest stuff on earth.
Yeah, we have to have Uncle Mike to see how he's doing after the weekend. To see how
definitely a wellness check.
Well, and the Mets, they have the Nationals, they have the Padres tomorrow. They're finishing up with the Padres. Then they have the Nationals at home, who they should be able to beat. And then they have us, who I don't know what we'll be doing next week for those 3 games. And then they finish with the Marlins, who stink. So the Mets do have a pretty easy schedule, whereas the Diamondbacks, they play the Phillies, Dodgers, and Padres, and who plays the Dodgers, Cardinals, and Rockies? The Giants. The Giants play the Dodgers, Cardinals, and Rockies.
And I'll tell you, the Dodgers have to play this thing out to the end of the season because they're fighting with the Padres for the wild card in the division lead.
Exactly. So they're trying to get the division lead. So there is a little bit of an interesting, like the Cubs are sitting pretty. We're just like where we are and we're going to be there and that's set. But like other teams still have work to do. And then the Reds, if they want to climb into it, they've got us in this 4-game series. Then they've got the Pirates and then the Brewers. And the Brewers will probably be setting things up as well for themselves because they're so far ahead.
Well, I got to say, though, Philly's been pushing them for the number 1 seed. So it depends on how much they want to play for that potential NLCS home field advantage, because they are now they're a game apart. Philly's within a game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize they had pulled so close.
I'm not sure let me see who's finished playing today. I know Milwaukee is playing right now, and Philly plays tonight. So neither game is finished today. And right now the Brewers sit 92-59. Phillies are 91-61. So I guess technically game and a half.
Yeah. So they're really
that's a battle. So if both teams want to push for that number 1 seed, maybe they're not setting stuff up.
Yeah,
I don't want to play Philly and Philly.
Well, they could probably both get the bye, right? I mean,
well, they'll both get the bye, but the question is like, how hard do they play for that NLCS?
Well, yeah, because you get the whole full home field advantage the whole time.
Yes.
I mean, and in that case, I'm kind of rooting for the Brewers, because then we could face the Brewers maybe in
Wrigley North.
In Wrigley North and be close by, as opposed to having to go to Philadelphia, where I don't know if we survive that trip. That's
when Schwarber will hit 5 homers.
Oh, I don't want to face. That's what he's going to do to us. So I don't want to face. I don't want a piece of Philly. I don't want Nick the Stick. I don't want the Bizarro Cubs. If we had signed him Cubs in my face.
It's like the Rays series. We don't have to spend any time on it. But that Christopher Morel first at bat was the most predictable home run in the history of it.
Exactly. Cubs have a knack for attracting that like a freaking magnet.
Oh my God.
So either way, the Reds are playing for it right now. The Cubs really don't have to play for anything. I mean, they're the only ones that are just kind of like,
they just have to not fuck it up.
Exactly. Which, it is the
They're
Cubs.
fully capable of doing.
So, and right now the Reds are a 500 ball club. They are 5-5 in their last 10. They're not trying to win it that hard. They've got really good.
They're a good team.
They're a good team, but they don't score enough runs. If they have a really good, every single pitcher that we're facing in this series, Green, 3.01 ERA, Lodolo, 3.30, Zach Little, who they got from Tampa, 3.80, which isn't too shabby. And then Abbott has a 2.88. Those are all their starters. They've got great starting pitching, and they don't hit enough. And when their offenses needed to come through, they didn't add too much. They got, what's his name from the Pirates?
Ke'Bryan
Hayes. But he's a defense first third baseman.
Yeah, he's fine. But
yeah, they've got a good defense. They do. And they got better with Ke'Bryan Hayes. But, Ellie De La Cruz, he's hit and miss. Like, he's an amazing.
I'll tell you though, he's a guy that we're down to 10 games left in the season. He's a guy who could carry them the last 10 days. If they squeak in the playoffs, he could dominate and carry them for a series, or he could just not show up.
Yeah, or he could strike out 50 times.
Yes.
So, no, I mean, he could. I mean, that's how it's been going with him. And I looked it up. In the last month, they've scored the 7th fewest runs in baseball. That's not going to get it done even with good pitching. Like, you can't. I mean, can you imagine how frustrating it would be to be Billy DeVore and watching your team go out there? Like, the Cub fans, we're sitting there crying about our stupid offense who just disappears from time to time. And these guys are the 7th worst offense in baseball they're watching. But their pitching has not really come through in this last month as much either. So they're kind of hanging around, but they could have, with the Mets fading like this, if the Reds had gone on a run, they're in.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So but they didn't. The pitching, they got a 4.83 ERA overall in the last month. So they've been giving up, 4.83 runs a game.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done.
That doesn't play well when you're scoring the 7th fewest runs.
And this is kind of typical of a young team, is they do commit quite a few errors, but they have a very high defensive efficiency ratio, and they're neck and neck when it comes to defensive runs saved. So they get to the balls. They just don't always field them.
I haven't seen a ton of Reds baseball, but what I have seen, it seems like and this would be a good question for Billy if he was here. Maybe we can ask him on Saturday. It seems like a lot of the Reds' defensive errors come in clusters. Like they'll have a game with multiple errors and it costs them a couple runs in the game. And then I think on the whole, they are a good defensive team. But to your point about young teams, I think it just kind of cascades on itself. And that'd be something I would want to get his opinion on. He sees a lot more Reds than I do for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to him about it on Saturday where we're all hanging out, or when you're sitting there on a podcast with him on Saturday, because you got to be on that sucker.
I want to be. I'll be there.
Yeah. And then we have Dominic's adding in the chat too. He said the D-backs are done. I meant to bring this up too. Thanks for reminding me, Dominic. The D-backs are done. They have the Phillies, Dodgers, and Padres. And then the Padres, who we also didn't mention, they have, because they're kind of set where they are too. They're also in a position of the Cubs that as long as they don't fuck it up, they'll be okay. Dodgers have the Giants, D-backs, and the Mariners. And then the Padres have the White Sox, Brewers, and Diamondbacks. So
could you imagine if the Diamondbacks and the Giants get hot and all of a sudden like the Dodgers get pushed to like the second or third wild card?
That'd be great. I mean, because and that's why kind of the same reason we want the Mets to lose too. Like those teams that spend all the money, you do want them to lose. You know, we're kind of the second tier of that. You know, we're the second tier of spending a lot of money, but so we can't really be like, well, we're the underdog team because you know we just draft well and we know how to develop players. Like I would not say we do. So yeah, I mentioned we don't know who we're pitching. We have no idea.
Cubs pod tomorrow will be fun when I do the preview section. I don't know. They've never faced TBD.
Yeah, it's going to be TBD maybe till game time. Yeah, but I do like. I just want to give people some advice about going to Cincinnati if you are going, and if you are going, come hang out with us at Binsky's Bar, and in section 509 if you could find it. But somebody told me recently, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it on this trip, but to take the Reds Hall of Fame tour, I guess it's $20. My boyhood friend Chris Zaha told me to do it. He said it was really good. It was a really great tour. He really enjoyed it. It's like $20 or something like that to get in. So take that. I will also say this. You'll see on that Sunday day game, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be, but almost the entire stadium is in the sun. And you want to be in the back rows in the lower deck if you don't want to be in the sun, or in the upper deck on the first base side. You're better off on the first base side. If you sit in left field, where I sit oftentimes at Wrigley Field, while the sun is setting, you will not see anything. Your sun will be in your face. Okay. So one of the best views you can get is along the third base line, looking out over onto the river from the upper deck. I love the upper deck at Cincinnati. It's really nice seat. They have an amazing beer selection on the first floor with a huge bar with like 20 different taps. There's multiple places that have that, both on the first and third base side. And oftentimes, you can go, if you don't have your ticket yet, go down to the stadium, buy it from the box office, and ask for the cheapest possible ticket, and it will be way cheaper than your SeatGeek or anything like that that's going on. So just wanted to give people, and parking, if you know how to fight, you can park in Kentucky and walk over the bridge. I have had a lot of luck with your spot heroes though down there, as well. There's also if you are willing to walk half a mile, like from like Fountain Square, you can find spot heroes over there, maybe $8 to park, $10.
Nice.
So that's super cheap, and it'll be like more like 25, 30 if you get close to the stadium. And I'm only talking about the difference of a couple blocks. You'll save $20. So totally worth doing. And it's your first time in Cincinnati.
It is.
Right?
I've been able to add 3 new stadiums this year. I have a son. I moved up to Boston. Andrew and I went to Fenway last spring break on a stadium tour, which I don't know anything about. I haven't been to Cincinnati, so I can't plug that one. But if you have a chance, you're in a major league city. If the team's not in town, go see if they're doing tours. I've done tours in Fenway and Wrigley and Yankee Stadium and oh my gosh, I just did one. City Field, and it's just cool to see the different stadiums. I mean, obviously, Wrigley and Fenway have their vibe. Yankee Stadium is total garbage now, and then the Mets Stadium is all brand new and it's all ritzy and fancy. And they showed you 100 different lounges, but you get to see a cool vibe and everything's a little bit different. You typically get to go down either on or near the field. So I'll always seek it out, but I've been able to add Fenway to my list, the new Yankee Stadium, which is one of the worst major league stadiums I've ever been to. And I get to add Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, and it's probably better to go on a day when the team is not there, because I know at Wrigley they show you more. You get to see.
Yeah, and I've not done that because I'm only in. I got to get out there in the winter sometime and go. But if they're doing tours,
or just stay like an extra day, and take it in.
Yeah,
like come in for like a weekend, see the team, and then stay on a Monday and go take the tours. So yeah, so we'll be hanging out. Binsky's Bar, as I said, Billy DeVore and the new Nasty Boys will all be there. We'll be drinking Malort out of ashtrays, and Billy DeVore clued me in. We were trying to come up with a Chicago Cincy mashed like food challenge mashup, and it looks like we're doing.
He did the Windy City Dog with Skyline.
Well, this time he did that, and now he's gonna do like a beef sandwich chili dog or something like that, I think is what's happening. I mean, I don't know. What did he say? I'll look at it right now.
Billy's a man who loves food. I'll test him, or I'll trust him.
What did he say? He goes, okay, I think I figured it out. And so he's sitting there like with his like scientist lab coat on, and he's got beakers
or Chat GPT.
Yeah, exactly. I found it. He says, I think I figured it out. I'm going to make us Italian beef. Beef is the hot dog. Cheese Cody's. So are we dipping that? Oh, I know. I have a suggestion. You know how like you get it dipped, your beef sandwich? Mm-hmm. You dip it in Cincy chili. That's the dip.
Yeah.
That's your au jus.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're doing a mashup, that's what it's got to be.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have some fun. Hopefully, if you're hearing this now, well then join us. We'll be at Binsky's. What do you got?
Anybody who gets out there Friday night, I'm driving up and I'll be there Friday night. And hit the Discord. Maybe we can find some people to go out.
Are you going to the game Friday?
I'm not. I got to teach a class Friday morning. I'm gonna hit the road, so I'll probably be getting there 7-8 o'clock.
Yeah. I was maybe gonna try to go to the game on Friday night, but I'm not sure that I'll feel like it after driving for 5 hours. You know what I mean? It's just like
I'm spending enough on divorce attorneys. I'm going to drive. So.
And the last time that I drove to Cincinnati and didn't go to the game was a rainy night years ago, and a man named Jake Arrieta was on the mound that night, and I was like, it's raining. I don't really feel like going down to the game. It's kind of wet. We're getting a little bit late. Yeah. And so I was in Cincinnati watching that game on TV as like Jake Arrieta walked like 6, but didn't give up any hits. So anyway, I was also in LA playing a gig in Los Angeles at the exact same time that Jake Arrieta pitched his no-hitter in Los Angeles. Wow. What are the odds? I was supposed to be at that game as well, but the venue switched dates. So instead of starting our West Coast tour with that venue, we ended it with that venue. It just happened to coincide. I was like, we'll just miss one game. We'll go the
that game didn't matter at all.
No, it did not matter. It wasn't anything in Cubs history that I missed.
Wasn't that the game after? I think it was the final game of the series, or after that series. That's when they all did their footy pajamas on the plane, going to whatever their next destination was.
Oh, and let's close with that actually here, because there are costumes involved in this road trip. They are going to Cincinnati tonight, and many of the Cubs are dressed in lederhosen. The rookies are all dressed in lederhosen. This is what they're doing for hazing now. If you see right in the center there, you got Pete Crow Armstrong, who's really getting into the character of it. But I was wondering, these guys are all rookies?
No, isn't Shota?
Shota's sitting there, isn't he?
Michael Bush is in there.
Bush
Shota and
is
Bush are
there.
next to each other.
Yeah, I don't think this is a rookies thing. I think this is just a.
Isn't that Seiya on the other side of PCA? No, maybe not. Maybe that's not. No,
maybe
it's hard to
it's
tell with the
not.
sunglasses.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's definitely Shota, I think, next to Bush.
Yeah, and Kevin Alcantara was up last year. I mean,
That's true.
And Bush is not a rookie. Yeah, I guess it's not.
PCA's not a rookie.
No, that's true too. Yeah, but I think it's hilarious that that they decided to wear.
Is that Daryl from The Office in the blue on the left?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is good stuff. I mean, if you're gonna dress up, this is pretty freaking hilarious. They kind of look like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but they're finally having some fun.
Yes, finally.
All
they had to do was dump champagne on T-Mac for an hour.
Yeah, she was like wearing a raincoat the entire time, a poncho. So, and I saw them, and I'm so happy. The Spanish language team, they were in Pittsburgh for this entire series. They are usually.
Awesome. Miguel deserves it. They all deserve it, but Miguel deserves it.
They worked so hard to get to where they are right now. And Jorge called the game with Miguel today. Elio was on the broadcast the last couple times. And so they were down on the field after that game. They were in the clubhouse after that game. I saw Miguel asking some questions in Spanish to some of the Spanish language speaking players. And they obviously they're just as excited as everybody else, but it's only they're all together because it's like the four of them, like they feel more comfortable in Spanish. So it's like, but it was great to hear from them too. And
Miguel's so great.
Yeah, and he's such a great. I mean, I've been listening to it almost exclusively, the Spanish language broadcast because I go to Mexico often. I'm going to go in November, and I'm really working on my comprehension right now, and listening to them has been really just it's a great way to practice. If you love baseball, you kill two birds with one stone, practice your Spanish at the same time. But anyway, shout out to him for being there. So why don't we give out a hashtag chance in the chat? One
more Miguel plug. I've run into him a couple times, and he is exactly how he comes off. If you ever see him, just go up and say hi. He will be like your best friend.
He's a genuine dude.
He really is.
And he's a big Cubs fan, just like us. All right, this is your last chance to get into the chance. Let's see who wins it. Boom. Round and round she goes. Where the wheel of chance goes and stops, nobody knows. I want to deliver this one in person but I'm not going to be able to because Little Yumper won. Congratulations, Tom. You are tonight's big winner. Congratulations. So there's the show. I'm going to thank all of our Patreon supporters yet once again, patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch. Also, all the great shows on the Bleacher Bunch. Please listen to us and subscribe because you get extra shows and ad-free and early. Also, our sponsors, Matt Cameron's Permanent Paintings and In the Clutch Shirts. I'm going to end the show with a song called Cubs Time Machine, which I wrote about the 2016 Cubs in reference to the 1908 Cubs. Ooh. That I don't want to get back in a time machine. New? No, this is an old one, but one that I don't play all that much.
I'm not sure I know this one. I'm sure I've heard it, but
I believe this one never made a Bleacher Bum Band album. We've never recorded this one. This is all me, and it's on what did I call it? Song Ranto. It's like a compilation of all the songs that never made it on anything else. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. Spagog, and we'll see you after this awesome weekend in Cincinnati.
Spagog and celebrate.
I had a vision just the other day that I traveled back to 1908, the last year the Cubbies went all the way. made a decision that I never want to come back again. I'll miss you all, but this place is heaven. 'Cause here the Cubbies are the champions. And I'm not getting back in that time machine, saying goodbye to my old life, staring at a screen. Unless the best damn Cubs team I ever seen can finally win it all in 2016. To see the game's $1.50. Good thing I left some money in my pants. Now I'm watching Tinkers, Evers, and Chance. Overall's pitching, damn, I had hoped to see Three-Finger Brown. Knows how to throw and mow the batters down. At least I can't afford the tickets now. Wow, oh, wow. And I'm not getting back in that time machine. I'll drive a Model T Ford on 10-cent gasoline. Unless the best damn Cubs team I ever seen can finally win it all in 2016. Looking for me, I'm as happy as a Cubs fan could be, watching Chicago win the World Series. I'm not getting back in that time machine. I'll root for Ed Rubach and Johnny Kling, unless the best damn Cubs team I ever seen can finally win it all in 2016.